Hey guys, it's Keshav here from Revolution Hive. This is probably one of the toughest videos I've had to make so far. I've spent the entire day trying to get the perfect words, but it's really difficult. In 2012, 4 years ago, I volunteered in Botswana, where I worked on HIV prevention and women's rights. And while we were there, I was fortunate enough to meet an incredible family, one of the most beautiful, inspiring young people that I've ever met. A young man called Jay. Jay was one of those people that he was just good at so many things, and nothing ever came easy to him. He was handsome, he was intelligent, he was athletic, and in the 4 years since I've been to Botswana, he'd become such an incredible young man. And 2 months ago, he passed away. He had just turned 18. And we were supposed to Skype in 2 weeks. I was gonna go and see him. And one of the hardest things about knowing that he's not here in this material world anymore is that I'll never get to see him again. I'll never get a reply on WhatsApp in our conversation. And I wanted to see him again. I wanted to see him again and tell him how proud I am of the human being that he'd become, of how much he'd grown, because he was like my little brother. He was one of those people who had so much potential in front of him. And this whole thing has taught me that life is so precious and that you never know when it's going to be the end. So in today's video, I wanted to share what I've learned about dealing with grief and how you can move forward with kindness and use this experience to become a better human being, a wiser human being, and full of more light and love. The first thing that I'll say is, and I got this from Tuesdays with Morrie, I want to give a big thanks to some of my older peers and mentors, Bhatt and Nilesh, who shared a book with me called Tuesdays with Morrie, and it's about a professor from a university who has ALS, a degenerative disease, and he knows that he's going to die. He knows that the end is coming. And if you YouTube him, you'll see all kinds of interviews with this amazing human being. And somebody asks him, how do you deal with knowing that you're dying every single day? Because that's such an emotional time, like your existence is going to end. How do you deal with that? How do you wake up every morning and stay so positive? And what he said was, I allow myself to completely feel it. So if I'm feeling sorry for myself, if I'm feeling anger, if I'm feeling like I don't want to die, every morning I wake up and I allow myself to feel those things. And that's what I want you to realize, is that there is no right way to deal with grief. There's only your way. And it's not like a tick box exercise where you go through the 7 stages of acceptance and denial and then it's all complete. You're going to go through it countless times perhaps. It's a cycle like a clock face that you'll continually keep revolving around. And though you might keep going around it, over time you'll get better at dealing with those emotions. But the key thing to remember is your brain can't distinguish between emotional and physical pain. When you lose someone that's close to you, whether it's a breakup or losing a close person in your life through death and grieving their loss, to your brain, the same pain receptors are firing in that primal part of your brain. So it's like you've lost a limb, literally. So imagine if you'd broken your leg right now, how would you deal with that? How would you deal with every single day, day-to-day life? Because if I was on crutches, I'm gonna have to walk twice as slow. It's gonna take me time to really, really heal that wound. It's gonna require, people are gonna have to open doors for me. Even going up the stairs at a railway station, it's gonna take me time. There's so many little details that happen, so many different things that you can't do like you normally would. So losing someone is like losing a limb, but even greater pain depending on the quality of the connection that you had. And the best thing that you can do for yourself as you're moving through these stages is to realize that your emotions are more powerful than you. You can't defeat them through sheer willpower. But what you can do is learn to manage them. It's like you're dealing with a small chimpanzee. Imagine that chimpanzee is upset or angry. You can't logic it to death and reason with it. It's just gonna feel the way it feels, and it's stronger than you. But what you can do is learn to manage your inner chimp. And one of the best ways that you can do this is by expressing how you feel. Taking the grief that you're going through, the anger, the denial, the sadness, that person is gone, and creating something, expressing something. The purpose of art is not what other people think about it, but it's about the inward significance of it. So find something that you like doing, whether it's making origami paper cranes, or going for a walk, or exercising, or writing in your diary or your journal, or having conversations with friends. Whatever the thing is for you, create a space where you can express everything you're feeling from moment to moment, because different emotions are going to come up. And like I said, you're not in control of them, but you can choose at some level how you're going to respond, what you're going to do with that feeling that you're carrying around. And what Morrie Schwartz said was every day he would allow himself to feel the denial and the self-pity, and he would fully feel it and then let go and then move on. But you can't do that if you're depressing the emotion. All you can do is learn to express it and manage it. And the final thing that I want to say is come face to face with your own mortality. Because when we realize how fragile life really is, that at any moment, all this stuff that we build up, the businesses, the books we read, the persona that we create, it can end at a moment's notice in the most simplest and random of ways, like it did with my friend Jay. And though he might not be here again, he might not be here physically right now, it's important to realize that the dreams that he had, the goals that he was working towards, it doesn't just die with that person, but it's reincarnated, it's recreated through you. And it's up to you to become that legacy of that person. So think about, what was it about them that you admired? What were the things that inspired you about them? With Jay, I loved how happy he was, how fun he was, how he was just good in every single aspect of his life. Not only was he intelligent, but he was handsome as hell. He used to go to the gym, he was really strong. And equally, he was kind. He was talking to me about volunteering. We used to have so many conversations where he used to ask me, how can I do some of the things that you're doing? I really admired that. That despite all the struggle that he went through, despite all the setbacks, he was the guy that everybody wanted to be friends with. And he didn't just end up there, he had to create it. So think about, what were their best qualities and how can you apply them to your own life? This video is for all of you in Maun, all my friends that I am thinking about so much right now. Jay's mom, dad, Tino. Because here's the thing, that person might be gone, but his will and the fire and the passion and the dreams that he had or she had, or whoever that person is for you, obviously I'm talking about Jay, they live on. And we can choose to honor them in every moment of our lives, to apply the lessons that they left behind, because they stood for something. In every aspect of their being, they stood for something. So take it, absorb it, and add it to who you are, and move on forwards with them. Because not only am I living for my unborn twin, not only am I living for my grandfather, not only am I living for Sam, not only am I living for Jay, but for all of those people, because this is a natural process and part of life. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And remember, become that legacy. Peace.